台湾融入世界经济的核心。台湾宏观电视郭怡珍、钟建刚台北采访报道。
Thank you for tuning to Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tim. President Ma Ying-jeou was invited to attend the opening ceremony of this year's Commonwealth Economic Forum. 31 international political and economic leaders attended the event, and the theme of which was Asia's transformation and growth in a new era of risk. Overseas Compatriot Affairs Commission Deputy Minister Xu Zhenrong also led a delegation of young overseas Chinese entrepreneurs in attending the event.
President Ma Ying-jeou and numerous political and economic leaders from across Asia were in attendance at the opening ceremony of this year's Commonwealth Economic Forum. The theme of this year's event is Asia's transformation and growth in a new era of risk, with an emphasis on opportunities and challenges found in Asia. During his address, Ma said that his government has been able to mitigate the impact of the financial crisis through sound financial and economic policies to turn risk into opportunity. The president further said that his top priority in the next 4 years will be establishing a wealth balance and reducing Taiwan's wealth gap through tax reform. Also in attendance at the two-day event was a young overseas Chinese entrepreneur delegation led by Overseas Compatriot Affairs Commission Deputy Minister Xu Zhenrong. In regards to the challenges currently facing Taiwan, which include the European debt crisis, industry transitions, and the wealth gap, Ma said that the next few years will be the perfect time to implement reform.
The controversy over Taiwan's possible lifting of a ban on U.S. beef imports containing ractopamine continues. Protesters gathered outside the American Institute in Taiwan, voicing their opposition to the imports. The AIT not only sent officials outside to accept the protesters' letter of complaint, but also emphasized that food safety should be based on scientific standards and that American beef is completely safe to consume. As to why European and China still ban imports of American beef containing ractopamine, the IT said it is because their standards are not based on science.
Protesters displayed posters showing their opposition to a possible repeal of a ban on American beef imports containing ractopamine, while others acted out a play. They had a mess outside the American Institute in Taiwan, protesting under the watchful eyes of a large police presence tasked with maintaining public safety. The police asked the protesters to dispel, and when that request went unheeded, they formed a wall in front of the Institute. In response, the protesters linked arms and got ready to charge towards the front door, with their letter of complaint in hand. In the end, AIT sent out officials to accept the letter. The Institute emphasized that food safety should be based on scientific standards and that American beef is completely safe to consume. It also pointed out that UN testing had shown that offspring of livestock fed ractopamine are also safe to consume. In response to the media's questions on why Europe and China continue to ban imports of American beef containing ractopamine, AIT said it was because their standards are not based on science. Meanwhile, on February 21st, the AIT sent out an official statement stressing the safety of U.S. beef containing ractopamine.
On the eve of the DPP's scheduled meeting concerning the final draft of its post-election review, former Vice President Anna Liu released a lengthy review report of her own, criticizing the outgoing chairperson Tsai Ing-wen for causing generational gaps in the party in terms of experience and heritage. And she also faulted Tsai's leadership for triggering power struggles among party members of different generations. In response, some DPP members simply said that they respect Liu's own views, while others expressed their disapproval.
The DPP is scheduled to hold an expanded meeting of its Central Executive Committee on February 22nd for discussions over the final draft of its post-election review. However, former Vice President Annette Lu, who hasn't been invited to join the meeting, released a lengthy review report of her own on the 21st, saying that the DPP, under Chairperson Tsai Ing-wen's leadership, misjudged the situation during the latest presidential election. And the party's over-eagerness for generational transition has also caused experience gaps. In response, some DPP members simply said that they respect Lu's views, while others admitted they don't agree with her. And it remains to be seen whether the DPP's increasingly heated internal debates will eventually lead to positive results for the party.
After Jeremy Lin's insanity took the world by storm, President Ma Ying-jeou immediately asked Premier Sean Chen to form a task force on the promotion of basketball in Taiwan. However, KMT legislator Ding Shouzhong, who is also the chairman of the Chinese Taipei Basketball Association, has questioned the value of such a move, complaining that the CTBA's annual budget is less than 1/30th of those allocated to baseball. And senior sports journalist Frank Fu is also critical of the government, saying that it takes solid reforms to Taiwan's basketball system rather than empty slogans to get the job done.
The spectacular rise of Jeremy Lin has made basketball the hottest topic all over Taiwan, even in political circles. In an attempt to capitalize on the Jeremy Lin phenomenon, President Ma Ying-jeou specifically told Premier Sean Chen, who used to be a member of the basketball team back in college, to form a task force on the promotion of basketball in Taiwan. However, the results of similar efforts by the government in the past don't inspire much confidence in the latest move. 2 years ago, President Ma announced that 2010 would represent the start of a new era for Taiwanese baseball, and the government had set aside $2 billion NT for the promotion of the sport. Back in 2002, former President Chen Shui-bian also called that year the dawn of Taiwan's soccer era, planning to send 20 talented children to Brazil for soccer training. But now it seems doubtful whether those two grand projects will ever come to fruition. As the fans and the local media are busy following Lin's every move, little attention is paid to Taiwan's own professional basketball league. According to CTBA Chairman Ding Shouzhong, an increase in budgets is the first step to reviving Taiwan's basketball culture. But the construction of more high-quality basketball courts and the improvement of basic basketball training are also necessary. And it takes long-term efforts for Taiwan to eventually produce players of Lin's caliber.
Distribution disputes arose following last year's New Taipei Keelung joint entrance exams. This year, parents are up in arms over Taipei's Star High Schools reserving only 15% of spaces for open admission applicants. The admission threshold for public high schools in Taipei, New Taipei, and Keelung have been lowered this year. And the application-based admission quotas for Taipei Municipal Jianguo High School, Taipei First Girls High School, Taipei Municipal Zhongshan Girls High School, and Taipei Chengong High School have been raised to 45%.
To prevent distribution disputes from arising this year, several of northern Taiwan's star high schools, including Taipei Municipal Jianguo High School, Taipei First Girls High School, Taipei Municipal Zhongshan Girls High School, Taipei Chengong High School, National Banqiao Senior High School, New Taipei Municipal Haishan High School, and Zhonghe Senior High School have maintained their admissions thresholds at 380 points. The majority of other public high schools have set their thresholds at 350 points, while Taipei Municipal Fuxing Senior High School, National Yangming Senior High School, and National Keelung Girls Senior High School have announced theirs at 320 points. National Keelung Senior High School has set its threshold at 290 points. Although only one entrance exam will be held this year, Taipei Municipal Jianguo High School believes that the admission score will be around the same as in years past. However, parents' groups are up in arms over Taipei Star High Schools allotting just 15% of spaces to open admission applicants. Taipei Municipal Jianguo High School has added 39 spaces, while Taipei First Girls High School has added 48. Taipei Chengong High School and Taipei Municipal Zhongshan Girls High School, meanwhile, have each added 100. According to the Taipei City Department of Education, admission guidelines will be published on April 17th, and spaces unfilled after the first phase of open admissions can be used during the application phase. Official acceptance lists will be released on June 13th.
The new Taipei city government is currently in the process of establishing a policy requiring potential pet owners to undergo a 2-hour-long class on raising animals before they will be allowed to purchase a pet. Thus, anyone who wants to own a pet must first provide a certificate of life education. The new policy will be implemented by year-end at the earliest.
The adorable puppies attract all the attention inside this pet store. In order to prevent people from acting on impulse and purchasing a pet without properly thinking it through before abandoning it, the government of New Taipei City is now requiring all potential pet owners to take a 2-hour-long course on life education. They will receive a certificate upon completion of the course, which will need to be presented before they can purchase a pet. Pet store owners who are caught selling pets to persons without certificates will be fined between 10,000 NT dollars and 50,000 NT dollars. The course will help potential pet owners assess whether they are capable of raising a pet, as well as teach them how to keep a pet. This will give them time to mull over their decision before making any purchases. Pet store owners, meanwhile, believe that anyone who breeds pets or purchases them through illegal means should also be penalized.
If the luxury tax is implemented on a district-by-district basis, Kaohsiung's Museum of Fine Arts area is expected to be affected. According to reports, property prices in other areas may go down or not be subject to the tax at all. Real estate agents say that such a policy could cause shifts in investment zones and result in rising property prices in specific areas. Experts further say that few buyers purchase real estate in Kaohsiung for investment purposes and that the luxury tax is unnecessary.
Over the past year, Kaohsiung has seen a spate of new construction projects. In regards to the possibility of the luxury tax being implemented on a district-by-district basis, real estate agents say that districts other than the Museum of Fine Arts area may start attracting investors. The merger of Kaohsiung City and Kaohsiung County, as well as numerous new luxury housing projects, has led to a rise in peripheral property prices, and the luxury tax has not had much of an impact on the market. Experts say that few buyers purchase real estate in Kaohsiung as investments, and that while the luxury tax has suppressed the number of older property and foreclosure transactions, it is largely unnecessary. Experts also believe that a district-by-district luxury tax is an unfair practice, as all properties are different, and that the government should stop interfering in southern Taiwan's housing market.
Many of the powdered milk or dairy products currently on the market made the claim that they contain extra calcium or other nutritious additives. However, a study into these products has found that many of them not only contain excessive fat, but also excessive amounts of sugar. Too much consumption might therefore lead to cardiovascular diseases. As a result, the public is advised to maintain a balanced diet where they can get all the nutrients they need from their 3 main meals. In this way, they won't have to spend extra money purchasing dietary supplements.
This fortified milk supposedly contains added calcium, vitamin D3, and folic acid, and consumers may easily mistake it for fresh milk. A careful look at its ingredient list, however, shows that its fat content is 4.1%, which is higher than most whole milk. Consuming too much of this milk may thus harm the body. A recent study found that more and more food products claim that they have added nutrients. The scholars studied 41 of the powdered milk and dairy products on the market and found that only 2 of them didn't claim to have any additives. The packaging of some products even asserted that they were made from fermented milk containing the beneficial LP33 bacteria, featured seals of approval, or claimed that they were health foods. In reality, however, they are not health foods. On average, the amount of sugar in each bottle is also excessively high. The scholars say that an average person who maintains a balanced diet will get all the nutrients needed from the 3 main meals and do not need to consume any additional health supplements. Thus, they warn the public to pay careful attention when purchasing dairy products and to carefully read labels. In this way, they can not only save money, but also protect their health.
15 of the 20 samples of crayons and oil pastels recently inspected by the Consumers Foundation and Bureau of Standards Metrology and Inspection failed to meet the labeling regulations. The BSMI has already directed the Ministry of Economic Affairs Central Region Office to notify manufacturers. If manufacturers fail to take action, they will be subject to fines of up to 200,000 NT dollars.
The Consumers Foundation and Bureau of Standards Metrology and Inspection recently inspected 20 samples of crayons and oil pastels being sold on the market. None of the samples were found to contain excessive levels of heavy metals, but 15 of the 20 samples failed to meet labeling regulations. The 20 samples originated in Taiwan, China, South Korea, and Indonesia. Under relevant stationery product regulations, labels on crayons and oil pastels should list product name as well as the name and telephone number of the manufacturer. Imported products should also list the names of the original manufacturer, distributor, and importer in both Chinese and a foreign language. The BSMI has already directed the Ministry of Economic Affairs Central Region Office to contact the manufacturers in question and ask them to ensure that their products comply with Article 15 of the Commodity Labeling Act. Those that fail to make changes within the given time frame will be subject to maximum fines of 200,000 NT. The fine amount will rise over time if the manufacturers fail to take action.
迷人的巴洛克式建筑，亲近家园，漂亮台湾。
新化镇呢，不但呢，是上界美丽的乡镇呢，我想我嘛在努力呢，是一个呢上界环保的一个乡镇。
来到远称后山的花莲，除了感受山水的壮丽之外，吃保证是个令人难忘的出发点。其中开业超过74年的花莲扁食，就是老饕们的最爱。使用上等猪后腿肉剁碎搅拌成内馅儿，再包上手工赶制、嚼劲十足的馄饨皮，汤底则是大骨熬炖的精致高汤。一碗热腾腾、香味四溢的馄饨汤就上桌喽。品尝过馄饨汤之后，还要享受网络票选第1名的花莲包子。在这里，不论平日还是假日，24小时营业的包子店总是人潮络绎不绝。肉质选用最鲜甜的当天现宰猪肉所包制，吃上一口，肉汁的香味占满您的味蕾，让人久久难以忘怀。还有您不能错过的经典代表作，就是花莲马吉。开业之初，仅以自行车沿街叫卖的增记马吉，始终坚持以传统手工古法制作，外皮香 Q 有嚼劲儿，内馅则口口甜入心头，品尝过的人都会赞不绝口。最后还有您必买的伴手礼，就是花莲薯了。食材选用花莲最纯净优质的番薯，让您每一口都能吃出健康的味道。别忘了畅游花莲，就从吃开始哦。
你 好，我是致富密码的主持人张秀曼。台中大甲的芋头酥是闻名全台，而芋头酥的创始人是谁呢？他是台中大甲务农市的阿聪师所创造的。他从17岁就开始学做饼，有感于早期台中大甲芋头默默无闻，一斤卖不到4块钱，于是他灵机一动，想到开发芋头酥的产品，没有想到就一炮而红。致富密码将带您了解阿聪师充满故事的创业经历。
Welcome back to Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tim. An event is held this week by the OCAC to help young overseas Chinese entrepreneurs gain a deeper understanding of Taiwan's industrial structure, and it has attracted 35 participants from many countries such as the U.S., Canada, and Japan. The 5-day event includes visits to local enterprises as well as sessions at the 2012 Commonwealth Economic Forum. And the participants are all excited about the arrangements.
In an event held by the OCAC and the National Association of Small and Medium Enterprises ROC, a total of 35 young overseas Chinese entrepreneurs gathered in Taipei for 5 days of activities designed to help them understand Taiwan's industrial structure better. The participants came from different resident countries, including the U.S., Japan, Canada, and South Africa. In the opening ceremony, the participants first introduced themselves, and then leaders of the class were elected under the guidance of OCAC Deputy Minister Xu Zhenrong. The 5-day event would include visits to domestic enterprises and sessions at the 2012 Commonwealth Economic Forum, and the participants all appeared excited about the arrangements. The OCAC hopes that the event will help to strengthen the ties among young overseas Chinese entrepreneurs in different countries, as well as to enhance cooperation between them and domestic enterprises.
On the Mother Language Day, the Ministry of Education presented both individual and group excellence awards for this year's to those or contributions to native languages.
The students on stage perform an innovative tile song and dance number. On the 20th, the Ministry of Education held a presentation ceremony at Ximending's Red House Theater for its annual Excellence Awards for contributions to native languages. In the indigenous language category, the recipients included 2 individuals and 1 group. The individual winners were Pastor Xu Tongyi of the Truku tribe and teacher Kino Yafen, while the group was Taoyuan County's Wutoshan Cultural and Educational Development Association. The MOE also presented awards for contributions to the Hoklo and Hakka dialects.
On the 21st, which was World Mother Language Day, the Council of Indigenous Peoples published a report from its Pingpu Affairs Committee. According to the committee, census poll on the Pingpu population have to be conducted and cultural restoration plans have to be implemented before the tribe can officially receive indigenous status. Furthermore, the tribe must rediscover its tribal dialect and cultural traditions before name rectification issues can be discussed. However, members of the tribe within the committee feel differently.
A dance performance by students from Tainan's Jibeisha Elementary School opened a Pingpu Affairs Committee press conference on the 21st. The dance number was an adaptation of an old Saraya tale. The committee was established by the Council of Indigenous Peoples on July 5, 2010, and the press conference was held to summarize the committee's achievements over the past year. According to CIP Vice Minister Lin Zhangyi, there is a great deal of difficulty in conducting a census poll of Taiwan's Pingpu population. The Pingpu tribe wants official indigenous status, but it has been unable to meet either cultural or social requirements. The government believes that a census will help promote the Pingpu language and benefit a cultural restoration plan. However, Uma Talavan, who is a member of the committee as well as the Saraya tribe, disagrees with the CIP stance. According to Talavan, the Saraya tribe is an indigenous tribe, and the government's list of requirements for indigenous status are unfair to the Pingpu people.
10 years have already passed since the government required elementary and junior high schools to provide instruction in native languages. For the past few years, the government has promoted the Hakka language, helping it to spread and increase its visibility. As a result, many students have started learning the language. Despite this progress, many residents of Hakka villages still worry about the future of their language.
The parade consisted of students from the Meinong, Liugui, and Shanning districts of Kaohsiung City. They were attired in Hakka blue shirts, wore conical bamboo hats, and carried paper umbrellas in their hands. The occasion was Hakka Day, and the theme was speaking Hakka. Even Meinong, despite being a Hakka district, needs to promote the language to prevent it from dying out. The Maori people of New Zealand faced this problem 30 years ago. They came to the conclusion that no matter how much effort the government puts into promoting the language, the effort will bear no fruit if the language is not spoken at home. In the past few years, the government has worked hard to raise the visibility of the Hakka culture. They established more ways for people to learn the Hakka language and came up with original ideas to attract children to the study. However, there may be problems if children learn their mother tongue as a second language instead of growing up speaking it at home. If this practice continues, can the mother tongue continue to be referred to as such?
It's a season of cherry blossoms again, and in Greater Taichung area. Aside from the famous Wuling Farm, the Xingshe district has also become a popular destination for cherry blossom viewing. In order to ease the traffic congestion on weekends, the Taichung city government is planning 2 cable cars routes, which are expected to be incorporated into the city's mass transportation network, along with the new MRT lines in as early as 2016.
A sea of cherry blossoms have turned Taichung's Xingshe district into a dreamy, pink-colored world, and huge crowds of tourists have been attracted to witness the extraordinary view. By the estimates of the local district office, there are more than 100,000 cherry trees in the entire Xingshe district. As their blooming season will reach its peak in about 1 week's time, heavy traffic congestion is to be expected. In order to solve the problem, the Taichung city government is planning to build 2 cable car routes. One of them will connect Xingshe and Dakeng to offer tourists another option for visiting the popular scenic spot. The new cable car routes will also be incorporated into Taichung's MRT network in the future. It is hoped that these new facilities will not only solve the traffic problem, but also help to boost local tourism by giving visitors a chance to enjoy the fantastic scenery from mid-air.
建国假日花市位在信义路和仁爱路之间的建国高架桥下，是台北市政府为了美化市民生活以及推广农业产销而特别开设的休闲场所。各式各样的奇花异草、艺术盆栽、种子、肥料、工具等，都可以在这里看到，是喜欢园艺的民众添购物品的好地方。每逢星期假日，在建国花市常可以见到一家大小忙碌地搬运一盆盆新翠花卉的热闹景象。这里俨然成为社会大众共享的一座假日花园。
that's all the time we have for today's Inside Taiwan. I'm Melvin Tam. Thank you for watching. Wishing you a great day. See you tomorrow.